Hey y'all, welcome back to another All Things video where it's always something. I'm Darius. This is Destiny, and today for y'all we are watching The Pine Creepers, an animated horror story by Don't Walk Home Alone After Dark. It is officially Spooktober, and we are kicking it off right with a horror reaction, you feel me? We're hecka excited. We got a bunch of stuff coming our way. Horror games, horror reactions, jump scares, good vibes, good times, good laughs. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe to become part of that congregation. Without further ado, let's get right into the video.
I'll never forget the summer of '95. I was 13 that year. A heat wave had set in, making it one of the hottest Julys on record. The house I grew up in on Lake Michigan didn't have air conditioning. Most of the time, that was fine. At night, a breeze would come in off the water, so just an open window was usually enough to cool things down and sleep pretty comfortably.
Y'all, we live in Mississippi, if y'all already know. And we moved out here to the house we in now at 2011, 10. Bro, every year for the first 8 years we lived in this house, the air conditioner went out every summer. Now, if y'all don't know nothing about Mississippi, the heat is insane, but the humidity was deadly.
Yeah.
It'd be in the like 85% out and up all year round. Like even in winter, the humidity be insane. But it'd be cold then, so it don't really matter. But it'd be, imagine 98 degrees, feels like 107, humidity at 98%, clothes sticking to your, sweat dripping down your back. It's hot, you sweat as soon as you go outside, like the sun and licked you in the back of your neck and made you its beach.
Oh my god.
It's deadly.
This description.
This nigga talking about the window go down in Michigan and it's hunky-dory in this beach. Must be nice, is all I'm saying.
You need to get that off your chest.
I did.
That summer was different. Some of my friends and I had taken to camping outside to try and escape the heat. Jordy
I feel like Harold and the Purple Crayon. You remember that show?
A little bit.
Kind of feel like that. I like that crayon outline looking drawing.
It does have a nice texture.
McLean and me.
Like it's clean yet.
I don't know if it really made all that much difference. I think maybe we just liked being together. That made it easier to get through.
Like,
I can't remember the first day I met Jordy. We lived on the same street in our small town and we did everything together. He was my best friend. It felt like it had always been that way. Augie was a quiet kid back then, but you wouldn't know it when we were alone. So much so that his big mouth got us kicked out of my backyard. Dad had to be up at 5 for work, and he didn't exactly appreciate Augie's high-pitched laugh the same way Jordy and I did. There was a clearing in the pines behind Jordy's house where we used to hang out sometimes, so we decided to set up camp back there. An old, rusted-out Buick Century marked the spot. I always wondered whose car that used to be. Back before it became part of the woods, I mean.
What if it's like Clementine? That looks like an Easter egg to that like wagon off of The Walking Dead, the season 1 game.
I don't know why. I think these are real stores.
Yeah,
it wouldn't randomly connect to a game universe.
No, I'm just saying, like, what was like a little Easter egg? Like, using that wagon. Like, I know, like, it's not about that. You know what I'm trying to say?
No, I don't.
I don't know. It's just, like, even though if they're, like, telling the real story, I'm just saying, it's like, they're like, we don't know whose wagon it is, like, out in the middle of the forest. Like, the car they found on the first game.
It was in Georgia. This is Michigan.
I don't think it's not like it has to be in the same place. Like, you know how in like some games there'll be like a reference to like a different game. It's basically like a different universe and everything, like, but maybe like the same company like made it or whatever, just to kind of like mess with people. It's like, oh, they show this Zelda reference in this completely different game, but somebody from that company did it. Like, I'm just thinking it's something like that. Maybe it ain't got nothing to do with that, but that's just what I'm thinking.
I get what you're saying now, but I don't think that applies to this. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Oh,
like
slow.
So what you wanted to say is that you think this car made a cameo in both universes is what you're getting at. That's what you should have said. I don't know what you was trying to say at first.
I didn't get it.
Because you could have just used the phrase that's commonly used for it instead of...
Cameo? Easter egg is commonly used.
But Easter eggs are usually for in-universe things.
So I'm using it wrong?
I don't know. Point is, we both know what we're talking about now. That's what's important.
Slow.
Oh, I'm not even really sure how it got out there through the trees in the first place. We cleaned out the broken glass and the cigarette butts left behind by the neighborhood teenagers, and we made a fire pit out of one of the wheel rims Jordy managed to pry off. The mosquitoes out there were ruthless at sundown.
I'm not gonna go. I'm not
Dry,
doing that.
prickly needles covered the ground in a thick blanket under the trees. The only thing I hated more than that feeling under my feet when I wasn't wearing any shoes was the crunching sound they made whenever I was. It wasn't all that cozy of a spot, but at least it was private. A place far enough away from the rest of the world that we could stay up all night laughing and no one would care.
This is pleasant.
Jordy had skimmed some beer from a case in the basement that his dad was working on. 4 bottles of lukewarm lager to share between us. Not exactly a blowout, but not enough that Mr. Baker would miss them either. I don't drink much beer these days, but even just the smell of it always brings me back to that night.
When it all went wrong.
The hours slipped past as we stoked the fire, talking about nothing in particular. That half a sip of beer must have gone right to Augie's head as he called it a night pretty early on without even finishing 1 bottle. We didn't mind. More for us. At some point, Jordy brought up what happened to Pike Lister. Pike was 2 grades ahead of me in school, and he'd probably failed a couple on top of that.
This
He was
walking
big,
animation solid.
and everybody was scared of him. On a Friday, that past November, Pike left school after his usual extra hour of detention to walk home. And that was the last time anybody saw him.
I wouldn't go to detention, even if I did do something to get in trouble. I'm not staying at school longer unless
The search
it's
lasted for
extracurricular
weeks.
activities.
They never found anything. Some people said he just took off,
Without a trace.
ran away from home. Others thought he might have drowned in the lake accidentally. Not Jordy, though. I listened quietly as he laid it all out. How his dad said it wasn't the first time something like this had happened around here. How back in the 70s, 4 people disappeared without a trace. And how around that same time, locals had started seeing something in the woods that wrapped around our town. Pale creatures with large eyes and long limbs creeped around on all 4s. The pine creepers.
Ooh.
That's what we called them anyway. Jordy figured that's what happened to Pike. The pine creepers must have got him. I laughed him off.
Pike got popped by the pine creepers. I had to do the alliteration. It felt good.
It was good. Man, but this is solid. I'm immersed.
Yeah,
I don't even know what to say. This is so good.
I'm enamored. I'm engrossed.
off and eagerly
An
changed.
extensive vocabulary.
We ended up burning a couple more sticks before letting the fire die and heading to bed. One of us could take the back of the Buick, and the other had to sleep in the tent with Augie. To call it a two-man tent was being generous. I offered to bite the bullet, or at least that's what I let Jordy think. I'd never admit it at the time, but the truth is, all that talk about the creepers had me a little scared. Augie's snoring and spooning seemed like a fair price to pay if I didn't have to be alone outside.
No, come on.
After all, if they could take Pike Lister, what chance did any of us have?
They just.
I'm not sure what time it was
they got
when I
him,
woke up.
there's nothing to worry about. They gonna get us.
If they got that big beast, they definitely gonna get me.
If I wake up and you
was
sleep,
still dark
mouth
out.
wide open next to
I
me,
could
I
hear
might get
rain.
upset. What's up?
Just we gonna talk positive.
You don't have to be mean to me.
Everything ain't mean. It's just
You gotta comment on everything. Not everything I do is a problem.
I didn't say it was.
That's what you made us here.
Oh my Lord.
It was still dark out, and I could hear rain coming down outside. For the first few minutes, I just laid there, listening to the steady sound of the drops against the tent. It wasn't long before I realized that beer had gone right through me, and I wasn't going to be able to hold it. I fumbled around until I found the lantern, and I made my way outside. The night air had cooled down a bit with the rain, which felt nice. The whole sky was clouded over, blocking out any light from the moon or the stars. My eyes finally started adjusting to the dark. That was when I noticed it. Something catching the light just beyond the edge of the clearing. A dim, reflective shine that flickered as I moved the lantern. It took me a second to realize what I was looking at. Eyes.
Whoa.
It was hard to see much of what those eyes belonged to. I knew what they were. Pine creepers.
It's giving Yenny Tortokovsky vibes. You see it?
That is nice. Man, this is nice. This is creepy. I'm immersed. This is solid. Solid creature design. Solid story.
Great way to start October, bro.
Yeah, I like the way they led into it. This is nice. This is top tier. Nice sound.
My pulse pounded in my ears as we stared each other down. I carefully started backing up, never once looking away. I wanted to turn and run so badly, but just kept slowly taking one step after another. I got back into the tent as quickly as I could without making much noise. Maybe if I was quiet enough, those things would move along. I thought about waking Augie, but didn't want him to freak out and draw attention to us. Seconds passed. Nothing. The rustling of the trees and the calm drone of the rain. Just as I started to think that maybe I'd overreacted, maybe my mind could be playing tricks on me.
I believe what I see.
Never gonna tell myself I didn't see that.
It must have just been a trick of the light. No.
The only thought I'm having is I'm happy it left me alone.
I saw what I saw. I ain't no crazy man.
I ain't no bit.
I ain't no ugly bitch.
It started. That familiar, awful sound. The crunch of those needles. There was something moving around outside the tent.
Dang, Wendigo.
I did my best to hold my breath. The worst part of it all is I knew Jordy was out there, alone. I kept telling myself he wouldn't wake up. He was safer in the Buick. That I should stay still, stay quiet. I laid there, and I kept listening for what felt like forever. I was too scared to do anything else. I never woke up Augie. I never called out to Jordy. I never did anything.
Is the trunk open?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
The hours passed, and I must have
snatched your
fallen
friend
asleep
up.
for a few minutes because the next thing I knew, the birds had suddenly started chirping, and even from inside the tent, I could tell it was getting light out. I gathered any bit of courage I had, threw the sleeping bag off, and gave Augie a shove. I climbed out of the tent first, but he wasn't far behind me. Part of me believed that the pine creepers were still out there, just waiting for me to slip up. When I saw the Buick, I got this awful feeling in the pit of my stomach. It was empty. Jordy was just gone. On the way back to his house, I kept telling myself, we'll find him there. He just got up early and he wanted the comfort of his own bed. He wasn't there. We waited around all day, but he never came home. By the evening, our whole town was in a frenzy looking for him. I never told anybody about what I saw that night. Not even Augie. Nobody would believe me anyway. I've played it over and over in my head. I'll never forget the summer of '95. That was the year Jordy Baker went missing.
See how the barrel through. That was amazing. Great storytelling. It felt like an animated creepypasta. I was here for this.
That's so sad, bro.
Yeah.
I knew it was gonna be something stupid.
When their best homies just got snatched. The trunk was open the whole night. But he did the best thing he could do. Not get took with him.
Really?
Augie would have woke up confused like a beach. Augie went to sleep and said, I'll catch y'all niggas tomorrow.
There's no niggas to catch today.
They didn't catch Jordy tomorrow. Well,
Oh my goodness.
remember, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Remember, you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you.
And all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and do what's called according to his purpose.
We out.
Bye.